Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead, back with another On the Wrong Lead live. Unfortunately, it seems like Turfway was not running tonight. I don't know what's going on. Apparently, they're not running Thursdays anymore, or who knows what's going on. But we got a couple of races still here at Sam Houston, and we're going to talk about one of our teammates' favorite tracks. Mr. Caleb Knight. I
love
hear
Sam
you're
Houston.
a huge fan of Gulfstream Park.
I do love Sam Houston, which is what we're talking about tonight, right?
We got 2 races left at Sam Houston, but yeah, we opening night tonight at Sam Houston. I know Horse Racing Nation had a big live stream. They were plugging away early, and we're here at a normal time. I think they should be running. They should be running a little bit later, but I don't know. They started at 4 p.m. today, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of happens. But yeah, this chalk, and I mean, of course, the chalk eater himself, chalk master Mark L. Capitan, had the 3 there. I had the 6 and the 2. What did you have? Did you have the 3 here at Sam Houston?
I did, but it was like the worst one for me.
Yeah, 9 to 5.
I got 2 singles coming up, so I'll play a double. I like how you just trash Mark and then don't bring him in.
Yeah, I know. I just like. I mean, he can wait. He can wait because he was cheering that 3 home like it was Secretariat, man. Like I don't know. Brian,
Hi.
I know we normally bring you in late, bring you in last. Caught you off guard here. Talk to me about Sam Houston. What do you like about Sam Houston?
I don't. Oh, shit! Wrong cue card. No, let's joke for a minute. Sam Houston's great for the players, right? Usually the pools are great. The takeout is lower. The racing is decent. If you can beat a Broberg or an Asmussen, you're going to get paid in a pick 3, pick 4. You know, it's a fun track. I don't like the 4 o'clock starts because, well, that just sucks. Unless you're working from home still, Josh. But, you know, other than that, I like it.
Is that permanent? They usually run a little bit later, don't they?
I always thought they did like a 6 o'clock start time. I think as the winter days get longer, they go to a later post time, if I remember right.
Okay. Because I remember when we were doing these streams. I mean, we would catch like the last 4 or 5 races. You know, right now we only got the last 2. And then shout out to Ryan Hauer, first commenter. Our normal first commenter, Road Warrior, is going to be out tonight. But I'm sure he'll catch the replay and give us his comments here. But yeah, Sam Houston, man, 12% takeout. What do you got, Bri?
So yeah, all of 2022, Sam Houston, Wednesday and Thursdays, 4 p.m.
And then Friday, I'm guessing they're doing later.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday, 6:45.
I'll tell you, there was definitely many a night where Caleb and I were firing away at Sam Houston with baby splashes abound while playing Rainbow Six last year. So, yeah, I guess the chalk eater himself.
Finally.
Yeah, we'll finally bring you in, cheering that 3 home like he owed you money.
So when I cheer the 7 home in this next leg, are you gonna give me more crap about that?
I mean, probably.
Yeah, really?
Okay. I would expect nothing less.
3-2.
The winner of the last. I think he was like, I don't know.
I was talking about the 7.
Yeah. Oh no, the 7's gonna be shorter than that. 1-2 right now.
Jeez. 7 opened up at 1-2.
Let me guess, you like the 7 in the last race too, huh?
No, I do not like the 7 in the last race.
You like the 10 in the last race?
No,
I do like the 10.
You like the 10, yeah. So the 10. So we already know the 10's going to be like 3-1, 2-1 because both Caleb and I were single to it, and Mark likes it. So if Mark likes it, you can. Horse is going to be like 7-5. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. It's been kind of a rough night for me so far to start off the meet. Caleb, you what are you live in here?
I just got a little pick 3 going. I'm going to play back a double here, though, because I actually thought I had like 2 singles here. Not high confidence, sliding kind of singles, but horses that are maybe a little contrarian kind of singles. So in this next leg, I like the 6 here. What's his name? Air Force Angel. I know the horse looks like he's bred to go long on turf, but his best races have been going shorter on the dirt. I think that might just be what this guy wants to do. And it also seems like these, mid-pack closers have done pretty good tonight at Sam Houston. Speed hasn't been amazing, and it feels like there's enough speed in here to be somewhat honest. So I'm going to stick with the 6 here. Air Force Angel is kind of the outside stalker. And then the next race, I'll key into the 10 that we just talked about.
Mark, so 6-5 was too long for you. So once he opened up that 1-2, you were feeling better.
Yeah, I slammed it down when I saw the 1-2. So now I have a pick 3 that goes single to the 7 and then into the 1-2-10 in the next. And I just play back a double that's 7 over 1-2-10. I mean, if you think this 7 is 1-2, you're much smarter playing doubles into the next leg than you are trying to win bet the horse at absolutely horrible odds here. There's a fair bit of value actually to be made doubling into the next leg.
Fair bit of value to be made to play every horse but the 7 here.
That was kind of the approach I took. I took I like the 1-2 and the 3 here. I was kind of seeing it a little bit like Caleb is that off the pace is the place to be. I think the 7 and the 8 and the 4 are gonna vie for the lead here a little bit. I think the 7 the 7 and the 8 are a bit faster than the 4, but I think this might set up for somebody from off the pace. Like I like this 1 quite a bit. The 2 and the 3 are the other kind of deep closers, and see if we get one of these home and get around this short price horse, the 7, and get around the Asmussen horse, the 8 here. Or is it Asmussen or is it? It is Asmussen.
The 8, yeah.
And so I'm going to take a look at some double probables and probably try and double into this 10 with the 1, 2, and 3, and maybe a little bit of Caleb's 6. But it depends on what the payouts look like here. See if it's worth it. But yeah, it's kind of mostly a pace play here. I normally like to take horses that are on the lead, but I think there's a little bit of pace here, and off the pace has just been good tonight. So see if we get one of those longer prices home. Let me open up the stream here. The 1 is 6-1, the 2 is 8-1, the 3 is 35-1. So any of those would be probably good at this point. The 7's floated up a little bit. Mark, are you getting worried? He's 3-5 now. That's a little bit out of your safety range.
No, I'm good. I'm good. And you have an argument if you're going to want to play the off the pace runners if you assume somebody's going to be able to press the 7, but who's going to press the 7 in here? I mean, your 6 maybe.
The 8,
maybe
the 4.
The 8. I think the 8.
The 4.
Yeah, the 8 if anybody. I think
8 goes. Okay,
yes.
maybe.
Or the 4. I mean, there's 4 furlong races that out of whatever the hell that is, the Gilgamesh State Fair.
I'm just gonna say it 1-6 to 1-6 double.
Wait, who's coming out of the 4?
Yep.
Caleb, remember that other long shot that just won?
Yeah, was he also coming out of like,
also came from
how do you guys
idea.
not know the Gillespie County Fair? I mean, that's a hell of a circuit to bet. How do you guys not know this stuff?
Wow.
I
I'll be sure to
didn't
point
know
him
you
out
could
to
bet
your flow this time.
Yeah, let's see if you won't bet a Mountaineer shipper, but hey, a Gillespie County Fair, like you're all in, huh?
Oh. Hey,
Ouch. It's like a
by the
double
way,
burn.
we do
I
have to
heard.
shout out. We do have to shout out Mark. He did get a nice little shout out in the Horse Tourneys blog. I kind of laughed a little bit because they called him Mark L. Capitan, and I was laughing because I was like, I've literally never heard anybody refer to Mark as that. Like, did he just make up his own nickname? Because I'll be honest, if anybody in this group would make up his own nickname, 100% would be Mark. Mark would be the guy. He's like, he'd be like, I don't know. He'd be like, call me M Smooth, guys. Like, I don't know. I can't even think what nickname you'd make up for yourself. But
And smooth. That's the best you could come up with for Mark.
dude, yeah.
Well, he's doing it like Mark would.
It is a little smooth. I mean, I don't know.
I'm still.
I got nothing. They came up with that one on their own. I mean, it's one of those nicknames that you're like, oh, that's terrible. That's gonna stick, isn't it? Damn it. So yeah, I'm not gonna get rid of that one for a while.
I mean, as soon as we saw it, everyone's like, from now on, we are going to refer to you as El Capitan.
As El Capitan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, you should know that I probably messaged everybody on the calculator chat and said that this has to stick.
Yeah, dude, I got a DM,
I would
I
expect
got a
nothing
text
less.
message, I got a voicemail, I got all of it.
Just so you know, when you get to Vegas, there may or may not be an L on your pillow when you check in. Just let that sink in. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Ryan says Captain Speed.
I mean, Brian, at least I'll be in Vegas.
Correct.
Just saying,
That's the.
Oh
I'll be
my
home with
goodness.
My family.
Do my eyes deceive me?
Oh, look who it
It's
is.
a Dennis Trusty
look.
sighting.
That's our number one fan who hasn't been here in like 6 months.
Dude, Dennis, I have to ask, wasn't it kind of messed up that Ed confused me for Capone? And then he proceeded to diss jazz music? Like, I felt like I was getting personally attacked on that entire stream. That was ridiculous.
This is gonna be the Dennis thing all over again.
What?
Or the eye doctor.
The eye
It's my
doctor?
worst-
Oh, God. Why did you bring up the eye doctor, dude? I just forgot about the eye doctor. They actually emailed me. My glasses are in. So, like, I kind of feel like I'm going to go there and, like, there's just not going to be anything. They're going to be like, yeah, no, we just didn't order anything for you. You can just leave.
I think you're going to be late.
Just picking them up. I mean, at this point, like, whatever. I'll pick them up when I pick them up. Anyways, let's get into serious business here. I got this nice wood case of
this is
Maker's
the
Mark.
rest of the stream.
Yeah, so the rest of the
opened 3
stream,
bottles. The rest of the stream, yeah.
the rest of the stream here is going to be me trying to open up these bottles. So it comes in this nice little wood case here. It's the Maker's Mark Generations of Proof, and it's 3 little 375 milliliter bottles.
No
So
way
there
you can
is
open those
a-
easy.
There is a Maker's Mark Cask Strength, which is one of my favorites. There is a Maker's 46 Cask Strength, which I've never had. I think they just started actually bottling it separate from this pack. This used to be the only way you could get it. And then there's a little mini Maker's Private Select made specially for Costco. So we'll be trying these out as we go along. The wood case is actually really cool. It's a shame there's really like nothing that I think you can do with this. It's even got like little locks on the side. I don't know. Good job on the packaging, Makers. But
Packaging
all right, we
costs
got.
you an extra $4.99 a bottle. Just come on now.
I mean, it's from Costco though, so I already saved money there. I think the 3 bottles ended up working out to, or the 3-pack was like $69.99, which
not
is
bad.
about the price. Which is about the price of just the, like a full bottle of the Private Select. I think is $9.80 or $90 normally. So you get a half bottle of that, and then you get a half bottle of the 46 cask strength, the Maker's Cask Strength. So that works out pretty decent.
Did you buy a 40-pound bag of popcorn or anything while you were there? Did you have the
So
dollar hot dog?
I of course I got the $1 hot dog. I mean, you got to get the hot dog at Costco, but I did get what looked like a gallon, I think, of popcorn kernels. So that's how I normally roll. I have one of those like silicone microwave ones that pops up really nice with a little bit of oil in there. But Yeah. Let's go ahead and start taking a look here at Gulfstream Park. Mark, we got a carryover.
We do.
What's the force out amount? Do you know?
You're gonna have a couple more days of racing, so it's gonna
So it's
probably
gonna get
go
hit.
up. Right now it's 860,000. But how these normally work is it'll get hit tomorrow. That it normally gets hit the day before because that's just how Gulfstream works. But no, I mean it's 860,000. You'll probably get another 100K tomorrow. People trying to slam it before the force. So probably just under $1 million worth of free money in the pot, and then you'll have 2.5 times that. So probably 3.5 total on Saturday. So it's definitely worth taking a look unless you're somebody like Caleb who despises Gulfstream for no reasonable reason. Yeah, it's a I mean, why not? It's one of those ones where you can. I think Gulfstream has its quirks, but it's a capable track. Like you can approach it. It's not full on fuckery like it gets to be in the summer.
I hope someone hits it tomorrow.
Because you don't even want to be tempted to look at it.
No, I don't.
Because we're going to goad you into playing this thing.
Well, the fact that we already handicapped it for the stream, like, if I handicap something and I don't bet, it's like a part of my soul dies. Like I just can't do it. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that someone hits it tomorrow.
See, I know I'm going to be. I'm going to
be
be
honest
trying
for
to
a second though.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Mark.
No, go ahead.
I'm talking on top of you because I'm getting even. Oh, look, Dennis, I can't get in. Prison. Anyway, if Gulfstream has a carryover, it's not player friendly. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, yes, the carryover, negative takeout, fine. But they are also syndicate friendly track, letting computers in there, rebate wagers, computerized teams. So you're in a disadvantage. If you are a $100 pick six player, you are at a disadvantage on Saturday at Gulfstream for the carryover. That's all I'm going to say. I'm off my soapbox now.
You have an argument there with whatever the smart money or people leveraging up or however else, guys who have $10,000 budgets who are firing at these kind of things where they can play it multiple times, sure, but I don't think you're at a disadvantage. I mean, anytime that you can reduce that takeout, that's the biggest burden for your average player, especially your $100 guy who plays $100 once a week 52 times a year and doesn't realize the effective that he's paying. I think that guy is actually incentivized to go after this type of thing where there's free money in the pot. It's an attackable sequence. And, I wouldn't say spend up, but I would say if you have opinions, just leverage them up.
Maybe disadvantage is the wrong word to use here, but, that $100 weight better doesn't have the same advantages that a computerized team has going into this sequence, right? They get the tote information. They know what's covered. They know the overlays. Let's be honest.
Well,
here's the question. Let's roll back. Sorry, Mark. Before I want to jump in here, I always like making the poker analogy, right? So, Brian, if there's a poker tournament, right, and it was I don't know, $100 to enter, or $150 to enter, or whatever, right? And there was a positive expectation where there was definitely an overlay, but going into it that you were one of the worst players, would you still play in it?
Me, probably not.
Even with the positive expectation, you wouldn't
Yes.
toss your money in.
You're entering as as a player who's at a disadvantage for the first cards dealt. So to take your poker analogy with the computerized rebate teams, you're playing poker against teams that know that the fourth card is going to be the 2. You don't know that.
See, I think that's kind of BS because there's the thing that computerized teams do have the ability to certainly model things to a degree, but they can't. This idea that they can see uncovered wagers. I've talked to multiple people who work in the the Mutel world, and that's just not the case. You can't see inside pots and see uncovered combinations, which is what everybody kind of always implies happens. Now, I think where the disadvantage comes is if you see these chalk out or become somewhat chalky. Yeah, there's guys with $10,000 pot or pools who are hitting it 100 times. Those guys are leveraging up, but they're leveraging up their best plays. They're using some sort of a structure. They're using a computer algo to best lay their money into that sequence. doesn't mean that you can't hit a sequence that pays $1,000 on a $20 ticket, because we have one friend who lives, in California, who does it consistently, who plays you $25 tickets at these things, and he's hit them multiple times for 4-figure. I think it even got a 5-figure score out of them. So it's definitely beatable. Now, is the RO, do you get for a sequence and for how hard a sequence is? Do you probably get slightly underrepresented? Yeah, you do, but I think that's more due to the base wager being so small and people just being able to simply cover so many combinations. So you tend to have a lot of a lot of tickets hit versus playing a dollar pick six at Aqueduct, where many fewer are going to be correct.
I'll stop.
I mean,
the
positive
argument
expectation is
after back and
positive
forth, but
expectation. You could pick numbers, and you're technically EV plus.
Free money in the pot lowers the effective takeout. I don't know how that's not advantageous.
But-
we're sitting here talking Sam Houston, and we're talking about the fact that, they have really low takeout. It's a great product to play because they have low takeout. Well, how does that any different than Gulfstream when you have a Mando where they're, free money in the pot is offsetting that effective takeout?
when you have a fee going from the tote directly to a syndicate's computer, you're going to tell me you are not playing at a disadvantage. Take out aside, to go with the poker analogy, you are disadvantaged before you place your wager.
Almost, with the exception of Naira, effectively every tote system in the United States has computer money in it.
Exactly.
So you're equally disadvantaged every track, except, and obviously Naira has computer money in it as well. It's just there's an early freeze out, so the pools don't move a ton late. So effectively every pool has computer money. So where's your argument here?
Do you see me get excited about carryover pick fives or pick sixes? Have you ever seen me get excited about it?
No, actually, no. That's just not your jam.
Because you can't, as a small bettor, you don't have that advantage.
So don't shit in Caleb and my Cheerios then, okay?
All right, Caleb's getting tired. He wants to eat his Cheerios now.
Dude, this is all just a ruse to get Caleb to actually handicap Gulfstream, because he said that he wasn't going to have time to look at it really hard. So Caleb,
let's look at an elaborate plan.
That's all the plan. That was all the plan.
I would say now that Brian, I've scared all of our viewership away.
So Caleb, race 6. We're going to start this off mile and 16th on the turf, claiming 35,000 N2L. Who you got here?
Yeah, so there's really only one horse in this race that I like, and it is the 8-horse, Maker of an Empire. So my first thought, kind of looking at this race, is it feels like there's a lot of speed in here. I think a horse like the 2 probably needs forwardly placed. 4 and the 5 both want to be on or just off the pace. So I do think that there's going to be, some honest speed in here. The 8-horse isn't a one-run closer by any stretch. He probably gets a real nice trip, though, just right off the main pace setters. And I just thought this horse makes a lot of sense. He, broke his maiden back in March, took a long time off. Came back last time and didn't do a ton of running, but that's first start in 8 months. He had some issues acting up at the gate. He first time facing winners. I mean, there was a lot there that, was up against him. I think coming back here today, second off the layoff, second time against winners, I just think he makes some sense here. I think he gets the right trip and he can improve on that last race. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only horse I really wanted to use. I debated about throwing in the 3-horse Tackle as the other horse that looks like, truthfully, I don't know what he's going to do. It's like every other race, he decides to show a different running style. But the Maker barn is really cold at Gulfstream, apparently. I'm showing 2 for 36. So that kind of bothered me about this horse. And he also sort of kind of had his setup in each of the last, or 2 of the last 3 starts anyway. I mean, he had those hot paces to close into on December 5th and November 5th. And both times he just sort of found horses that are a little better than him. I'm not, as much as I love Turf Duck, I don't think it's the highest caliber of turf racing. So I'm just not really sure if he couldn't get it done in those races that he's going to be able to get it done here as the likely favorite. So I kind of went away from him, and I'm going to use pretty much just the 8, Maker of an Empire.
Yeah, I basically am going to use only Tackle here, so I'm pretty much going to be opposite of you, Caleb. Yeah, I mean, looking at this race, it looks like this is probably going to be, there's going to be a bit of speed here. I know speed is always dangerous at Gulfstream, but I'm going to be looking for that mid-pack mid-pack horse. And I think tackle kind of fits the bill here. Best races have been run coming from off the pace, so hoping that Tyler, keeps the horse just off it and makes that one run. And Tyler's been hot. Tyler's 23%. He always rides well for Maker, and Maker's cold right now, but I just think this is the best horse in this race. And they're loading in here at Sam Houston. And I forgot to place my bet. But we're off here. And looks like the outside horses are showing some speed here. The 7's out there. It looks like the 8's out there. And the 4's coming up. So the pace scenario is looking pretty much how we thought it was going to. 7 looks like he's going to clear off. So this 3 is also going to be pressing from the inside. So looks like they're going to be basically 4 wide here.
If the 7 runs back to any of his 2 races, he should crush this field.
We got the 4 and the 8 there to press. That's what we expected.
Yep.
Kid's still standing up in irons in the 7.
Who's riding the 7? Oh, Eccleberry. Yeah.
You just call Rye
Rye.
Eccleberry a kid.
He calls everybody a kid.
All jocks kids. Something about being short.
Come
or
with that
something,
6.
and-
Swing out.
Nah, this is over.
I think it is over. The 7's too good.
I'm glad you said that, Mark.
You're welcome.
And here comes the 2 roaring. No. Every time you say that.
No, the 7 is gone. Good.
Let me guess. Did you eat a B to the 1 to 5 defensively?
No, I did not. I had $100 double cashing to the 7, and then I have a $20 pick 3 that's live 1, 2, 10 to the next. Oh, I also had $20 doubles from 7 into 1, 2, 10 as well. I leveraged it up.
Dude. All right then.
You asked.
Well, that 7 sure made me look like a fool. But let's keep going here. So I'm basically in a single tackle, I think, in this first leg. There wasn't really anything else that really stuck out to me here. Mark, what did you got here?
Yeah, I felt like this sequence is tough. The entire sequence is really tough, and I felt like this was the race that I wanted to take a stand in. And I really, Rally Squirrel is a horse I've been trying to get behind. I think I had Rally Squirrel in that original Turf Duck maiden win in November of 2021. Went into the Maker Barn, which has been crazy cold. Horse has been sort of, I don't know, I don't know what to do with, but I think both the Maker horses in here, both Rally Squirrel and Tackle, take a ton of money. And with how cold the Maker Barn is, not just at Gulfstream, but kind of nationwide right now, I really don't know what to do with them. So I kind of found myself, I didn't know where to go here. And the one horse I was sort of interested in is this 4, Caribbean Gold. I think the 4 can clear here, kind of the inside drawn speed. And if the horse runs back to some of those, I realize coming out of the Maker Barn is not something that's easy to do. But for climbing 35s, this isn't the toughest field ever. And I think some of those Aqueduct and Belmont races and the Saratoga races were probably a little bit better races than you have here. And a horse that, is controlling speed. Gulfstream Park turf tends to play very favorably to speed. I think Caribbean Gold ends up being my lone A in here for a jock trainer combo that has been pretty hot over the last year. So, I can make a case for the 2, the 3, and the 8 in here, but I think I want most of my money going through Caribbean Gold, the 4.
Brian.
Man. Mark was talking about Rally Squirrel. I was all excited. I thought Mark and I were going to be on the same horse, but he went to the 4, and I'm glad. So I like Rally Squirrel. I think if you look at what happened last out, it kind of bobbled at the start. So I can excuse that effort that you had. Now you get Paco at Gulfstream. Yeah, Maker's been cold, but he's still 15% after the claim. And going down to Florida and putting Paco aboard, the horse is going to be well meant. The horse is going to be forwardly placed. And if I'm talking about a speed issue on inside speed, I'll let Lionel Reyes on the 4 get out there, and I think Paco will outride him because it's Paco. With that being said, though, I like Josh's 3. I like Caleb's 8. This race, the way I have my ticket structured, I'm 5 deep here. I've got a little bit of 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9. I mean, I thought the 9 was one of those horses. Okay, it's Irad, who's going to come back with something to prove. He had 2 wins today on his first day back. And it's one of those kind of horses that doesn't look very impressive on paper, but has always been close. And if something crazy happens between the 2 and the 4, maybe even the 5 with the pace situation, the 9 could be there to clean it up. And like I said, because of the way I've constructed my ticket, I can afford to go 5, 6 deep here and be okay. So I like the 2 the best as an A, but I'll have some 3, 8, 4, and 9.
So you went to the 1 for 18 horse. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Do me a favor, make that horse a B or an alternate on Saturday for me, would you?
I'm just not going to use that. I'm just not going to use that horse at all because I don't want a horse coming from a mile and a half back on the turf here. And I think that horse is going to be way, way out of it early. I get it. If you're a figures guy, you look at that horse makes sense on figures, but that horse is going to be out the back just from a run style. I don't think it really, sets up for that horse.
If you look and see how the horse has ran with Irad aboard, he's okay. 2 back, he was 9 lengths early, and then 3 lengths back at the second call. You go back to last time I rode him before that, he got no further back than 4 lengths from the lead. I think that's a sweet spot for a Gulfstream, and I think Irad, with his riding style, is a bit different and fits this horse well.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably toss the Santana and Cancel races because they're just not good turf jocks. I guess I respect that. I respect that. I mean, doesn't it scare you a little coming out of the Joe Sharp barn, though? I mean, not that Antonio Sano isn't a good trainer, but there's, I mean, I almost think Joe Sharp falls into the sort of Chad Brown or the Todd Pletcher role. Coming out of those barns is a little scary, right?
A little bit, but it looks to be more along the lines of they left Kentucky and came to Florida. They want the championship meet. That's what it looks like. It wasn't claimed out. It wasn't, unless it was a private sale that I'm not seeing. I just think it was a circuit switch. So to me, it's like, whatever.
They all want the championship meet. Everyone wants it except for Caleb. Caleb's like, you can have the championship meet. Let's move on here. We got a nice maiden race here, going a mile on the dirt. I'm curious to see what you guys think here. I think I'm going to lean most heavily on 2 first-time starters in the spot, the 6 Calipari and the 9 Trending. I wasn't particularly impressed by any of these other starters. I mean, I think the 3 Touch Code and the 4 Logico are the 2 horses with starts in here that kind of make a little bit of sense. But I don't know. I was looking at the first time starters. Mark, I don't know. I pulled these PPs earlier today, and there was no morning lines. You got morning lines up by chance?
Yeah, I got morning lines up. What do you need?
Who's the favorite in this race?
They're the 6 at 3-1 being your morning line favorite, lukewarm. The 2 Charge It is 4-1. I thought, honestly, I think the morning lines here are absolutely horrendous, but I think this moves a lot. But I can talk about that when we get to me.
Yeah, well, go for it, man. Like I said, I'm gonna lean on the 2 first. 2 of the first time starters, the 6 and the 8 or the 9. Sorry. What do you got here?
Yeah, I like your 6 and your 9 both. I think my top choice is going to be the 10 Volcanic, who is a horse that caught an off track in the Hopeful. Basically, hit the gate, too wide in the turn. 5 paths at the quarter pole. I mean, the horse had an absolutely horrendous trip. Cassie Barnes actually been firing. Cassie, I think, had 2 wins on the day-to-day. And I think at 5-1, you're getting a horse that is getting a world and a half of class relief coming out of a G1. So they obviously thought a lot of Volcanic. And I thought that this horse makes an absolute ton of sense. I don't love the jock, but it is what it is. And I think Volcanic just makes a ton of sense in here. But agreed. I think this is one of those races that there are a number in here that makes sense. The other one that I had as an A is the 8 Bernie Lomax. If you're looking at time for him, I think that was the fastest last out time for fig in the field, and it's a horse that George Arnold is really good with maiden second timers. He's about 26% with a $4.84 ROI. So he wins with these at prices. Horse that doesn't have a lot of slot pedigree, so had every right not to handle the going at Churchill in the 25th of November. And I think this one is probably a threat, Godolphin homebred for Ashbrook. So I thought that horse was fairly interesting and one that probably gets lost on the board.
Yeah, George Arnold, a really good trainer. Has got the future Hall of Famer Funny Duck, his claim to fame, splashing away in the Pat Day Mile, which got me hooked on horse racing. Brian, what you got?
Well, Mark talked about the 10. Everything he said was right, except for the fact of, oh, I don't love the jock. Yes, I hate a 20% jock too, Mark. It's okay. I'm mocking him again.
If you saw some of his rides today, you would understand. I don't think that 20% lasts very much longer with some of the real jocks showing up now.
I don't think as much as how many times we have to talk about this. How much does he weigh? 120 pounds. How much does a horse weigh?
But he's 120 pounds of stupid.
I actually think it's a downgrade. Is it a downgrade going from Dylan Davis to Tyler?
I think that's the same. I think they're equal.
Oh, come on.
God.
Now you're just crazy.
Mark, what is wrong with you today? Holy cow.
Keep in mind, Mark's other A is piloted by Corey Leary.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh,
Caleb has a point there.
Man. All right. I like the 3. I'm just going to cut to it. Last week, Josh pointed out that Bill Mott points to this meet. Bill Mott likes this meet. So I'll ignore the Bill Mott 13%. Puts Lasix on. That's almost a 20% move for Bill Mott. Junior will not get bet on the board unless they love this horse. With the jocks down there, Junior will get overlooked. So I'm okay with that. I think the horse is 7-2 in the morning line. I think 3-1 probably happens because people like Mark hate Tyler Gaffleone or something. I don't know. But it's one of those horses on debut, looked pretty good. It was a maiden 60, and it was at Gulfstream. And there's nothing I can knock about that effort other than perhaps the bump at the break. If you go back and watch the replay, if you want to make an excuse, was the horse late coming out of the gate? Perhaps. Doesn't matter. I don't think so, but we can make an excuse from there. And then I went, I landed on the 10 like Mark was talking about. The interesting thing to me, and I just wanted to touch on it briefly, is I looked at the forecast for Saturday at Gulfstream. Scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. If it happens to rain, I think this race could make or break the whole sequence because these horses are babies, right? They're 3-year-olds, lightly raced. Are they going to race in mud? I don't know. If they do, you start looking, you say, okay, how can I change my ticket here? And that's just one of those things. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's just looking at the weather and at this field, having only 2 horses I like in the 3 and the 10, I immediately started thinking, oh crap factor. What happens if it does race or rain? Where do I go? And with that being said, a horse I might like a little bit is the 1 for Julian and Dale Romans. Go ahead, Mark. Give it to me. The horse drops in class a little bit from a very, very sharp debut at Churchill Downs in the slop. So I did all that talking about the slop, and then I take a horse that ran like crap on it. But it's one of these horses that if the price is right, if it sets up right, I like Julian. I think he's upgraded from Joe Talamo personally, and this is a much softer spot. And then probably the horse wasn't ready last out. The horse quit at like the half mile, and now here we are. So 3-10, maybe a little bit of 1. That's it. Yes,
I like your 1. I actually like your 1 in here a bit, Bri. If it comes up wet, just from the fact of that's a horse with Tomlinson figures and has some experience. Especially when you're talking maiden races, you want them to have at least 1 try if it comes up wet because it can be a taxing surface. Put a little conditioning into them. So I don't hate that. I mean, but you have to get the right price, right? Like your 1 has to be morning line, if 15, 20-1 range, if that horse is at 8-1, I have no interest whatsoever. But if the horse is at 15 or 20-1, yeah, I have no fault. I have no issues with that whatsoever. And honestly, Julian is a very good off-track jock, quite honestly.
In this field, if that one is 25-1, I think that's probably an overlay based on what I see in the rest of the field. But that's just my opinion.
I would agree.
To go along with our normal, our theme for today, I'm actually going to take a look at Dennis Trusty's thing in the chat here to buy our boy Caleb a little bit more time to analyze this race. But Dennis likes he thinks the 3 looks good. He likes the 6, and he thinks the 8's a little interesting as well. So he's kind of seeing it the same way that you are, Mark. He's not using the 10 much, but the 3, the 6, and the 8 are where our boy Dennis Trusty is going there. Caleb, what you got?
Yeah, so in general, I kind of agree with a lot of the horses y'all are throwing out there. I think both Pletcher entries here look strong. I generally shy away from first-time starters debuting at a route on the dirt. I just feel like that's a tough thing to do at first asking. Generally, I like to see him get a sprint in or second time going long. So I'm not going to single in one of these horses, but with the Pletcher barn firing the way it is, you really just can't leave him off the ticket right now, especially in a race like this where there isn't a whole lot of form to go off of. I did like the 10 that Mark and Brian both brought up. I'm kind of surprised that horse is so popular. But the one horse that we haven't talked about that I actually do kind of like a little bit is the 7 Union Storm. So this horse kind of has all the bells and whistles going off here. I mean, he's making a second career start, first time Lasix. He's getting the blinkers. He's stretching out to a route. And pretty much all of those moves are very high percentage numbers for Mike Stidham. This is a horse that's bred to go long. He looked like he was kind of getting into stride late in that debut. He kind of blew the break. He came out dead last by probably 10 lengths or so. And I just think that he kind of needed that start and is going to be a little more professional in his second career start. I think he's really going to like the stretch out here. And just in case the firsters don't handle the debut at a mile, I do want to have a horse here like the 7 who's could quite honestly be the longest or one of the longest prices on the board here. That race was dominated on the lead. They had a Pletcher horse that got bet really hard and wired the field, by 5 lengths. And the horse in second place was in second place the whole race. So nobody did much closing. I'm not too concerned with the running line there because I think it'll be better in the next start.
All right, Dennis has already given us a 10-minute warning here. I see Brian has got the timer on behind him. So we got about 9.5 minutes here before this last race at Sammy H. I think we all like the 10 here, don't we?
I would prefer the 2, but yeah, I do like the 10.
The 10 is a 2-1 favorite currently on the board. The couple entries 7-2, the 7's 9-2. The 6 is 5-1, and then you got 1, 8, and a 9, and then box cars for the others.
I like the 1 at 10-1, 7-1, 7-2. I don't want the 1 at 7-2. Looking at the way the board's shaping up right now, I am interested in the 6 at 5-1. I think that's a fair, interesting situation.
Brian or Mark, you said you got who you got here? The 1, the 2, and the 10?
1, the 2, and the 10, yeah.
And then Caleb, what are you cashed into here? Just 10?
I got nothing going here. I tried to beat the 7 last race, and I'm not going to fire back here. I think the 10 was my top pick here, but at 2-1, that's not really much value for me to make a play. The other horses I kind of looked at were the 6 and the 8.
Yeah, Dennis has got a 6-7 over 6-7, 1-6-7, 8-10 exacta there. So he's looking for a little bit of an upset here with the 6 and the 7 on top. I think
middle name Mario.
Yeah, his middle name is clearly Mario with that.
Nick C out here says he thinks 9 is a great price at 8-1 here. The 9 horse is Ronald Dale here for Sarah Davidson. Gerber Pivaro. Oof, I do not know who that is, but it looks like he is not riding. It looks like we got Alfredo Triana Jr. up. So it is not Gerber. The Gerber baby is not aboard here. Horse is coming out of a allowance company and is taking a pretty big drop. I think I might have pointed that out, Caleb. I think we were talking a little bit pre-stream, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting that this horse is coming out of allowance company and dropping down to a state bred 5. But the more
it's not a state
interesting
bred
thing,
5, and it was a state bred allowance. So kind of in my mind, it's not as big of a drop as it looks.
Gotcha.
But does any of that dropping stuff matter, Josh?
I mean, class doesn't matter, but the interesting thing is that he did the same exact move, going from these allowance races into a claiming 5, and ran a pretty decent race, and then which went right straight back to the allowance races where he was just getting blown out of the water. So I don't know. Maybe they're hoping for the same move to move the horse up a little bit here.
That's a big ask from Sam Houston, right? It's not Remy. I mean, Remington's a little different.
And they're not, state breds either. Also, I mean, who would you take, Gerber Pavaro or Tyler Gaffleon?
Oh, I know who Mark would take.
mean, I think Mark would take Gerber.
I'd probably take Gerber. Yeah, I think I'd take Gerber.
Swipe right on Tyler. Swipe right on Tyler. Just swipe.
Dude, like, of all the people, like, I don't know, like, I think, like, Tyler's, like, the most, like, I don't know, he's, like, the most inoffensive. Like, he's such, like,
He's way bred,
like,
right?
I mean, he just seems like such a nice guy.
Like, I get where Tyler's coming from, because I feel like, or not Tyler, where Mark's coming from, because I feel like Tyler's kind of like I don't know, he's like a generic brand Rosario sometimes. Because, like, sometimes I'll watch him on the turf, and he'll make some excellent rides. But then I see just as many rides, and I'm just like, what are you doing? So, like, he's not consistent, but his highs are high, but he does have some boneheaded moves sometimes.
War of Will.
Yeah, War of Will is the one that sticks out, but there's
Oh, man.
How is Country House doing?
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Witness protection program. I'm actually looking at some exactas here. Let's see what we got here. This 10-1 exacta is paying $26 right now for 2. Huh. I might jump in. Those are
Do it.
I think
Do
that's the play.
Do
Right?
it.
We're gonna do a $20 exacta.
There you
10
go.
over 1 straight.
$26.
No, because I don't have $26 in my account.
No, I'm saying that's what the probable is right now.
Oh, I was like, no, I can't do it for $26. I'm sorry.
See,
and then we're gonna do 10
there you go.
over 1. And then
No and then.
7, 8.
Dennis, if anybody was going to drop a dime on service, it would have been Country House, right? I mean, Country House probably sent a fruit platter to services, arraignment. Like, here, enjoy a nice watermelon while you deliberate.
What is it? What is it? Gallagher?
Yes. God, have you ever seen Gallagher in person?
No, but when you said watermelon,
He's got to be
that's all I could
85
think
years
about.
old now, but
All I could think about is Gallagher with the freaking sledgehammer to the watermelon. Caleb probably has no clue what I'm talking about.
I don't.
just so you know,
Yeah,
Gallagher and
gross.
Mark have a very similar hairline.
Is Gallagher bald now? Gallagher used to have like the flowing curly hair, right?
Oh.
Am I getting him mixed up with somebody?
There he is. Here we go. Oh, I can't do this. I'm sorry, Mark. I take it back. That
No,
was
you don't.
mean.
Don't
No,
lie.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm actually gonna have to Google Gallagher, see what he looks like now.
I was gonna make it my background, but there's so many images. They're just great.
Ooh, he does have a hairline like Mark. I didn't realize he was bald. He's always got the hat on. I always remember him with the hat, so I just assumed he had a full head of hair.
Much like we see Mark.
I think Mark just saw the
Okay.
picture.
I'm gonna stop making fun of Mark now.
That's a lie.
His headphones cut out. That's fine.
While we have this intermission, I just want to know how Dennis took a Twitter poll on things he's done, and he had like 1 point. Dennis has the most interesting life on Twitter that I know of, and he has like the most the smallest amount of experiences. So I just want to call Dennis out and say I think he lied on his Twitter poll. That's all.
What was his Twitter poll?
You get a point for everything you've done. Dennis had like 2 points. I was like, come on. I think half of us were calling bullshit on him.
Was one of the points mixing Pepsi with Jose Cuervo?
Oh God,
I think it was.
No, because that's definitely it should have been multiple points.
that's the trusty classic.
Yeah, it's a go up to the bar in Vegas and order a trusty, and that's what they pour you.
We're gonna have
Out
to
of the
try
gun
that, Josh.
though. Out of the gun. All right, we got a minute to post
Will they-
here.
Will they pour
What's
you a
up?
margarita with squirt out of the gun?
I mean, I don't know, but I can't believe that Indiana. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. It's an Indiana margarita, huh? It's a margarita with a splash of Coke.
That was the artist formerly known as On the Wrong Lead. I don't know what you're talking about. We're new people now. It's a new year, new us.
All right, so race 8's going to be going a mile on the turf, the tropical turf, grade 3. And we get the return of Largent, who we haven't seen since the Pegasus World Cup turf. I mean, I kind of like Largent in this spot, but I don't know. Like that layoff, it kind of scares me a little bit. Man. Like, what happened to the horse? I mean, the horse ran well. Finished second to Colonel Liam, so by a neck. And then where's Colonel Liam? He's another one. Both these horses just disappeared. So I don't know. I'm guessing something went wrong. Looking at the work pattern, and he's coming back. I mean, he's been working pretty consistently since November. So you would think that the horse is coming back. I'm coming back to a G3, which is kind of softer company than he's been keeping the last couple starts. So, you would think that Todd's pointing him in a good spot here. So I like Largent in this spot. I mean, the other logical in this spot is Value Proposition, who's last seen sprinting at Aqueduct for some reason when he's kind of just been more of a router. But we'll talk about this a little bit more after the race. They're loading in here for the last at Sam Houston. I'm playing a 10-1 exacta straight with 10 over 1 over 7-8 try. Mark, you cash a pick 3 to the 1, the 2, and the 10. Caleb, as usual, tried to beat the chalk and paid the iron price. And Brian probably made the smartest decision, which is just to not play.
6 over 110.
6 over 110. Okay. Dude, Trusty over here stepping up his game. He's got Old Forester 1920, some Jameson, some Michters, some Buffalo Trace.
That Michters comes highly reviewed. I'm gonna have to try that one.
I think it's good. I think it's a little expensive for what you get, but I think it's good. I mean, it's usually like $40-$45 around here.
See,
so
it's cheap up here. We get it really inexpensively. It's like, I want to say it's like low 30s here. It depends which one you want, though, but I like the sour mash, so.
Oh, I'm gonna bet the 8 now.
Yeah, the 8's floating up to 9-1.
The 8 does want to go in. That's always a good sign.
All right, Nick has still got Nick's 9 here. Nick C has floated up to 14-1. And then Dennis has still got the 6-7 exacta here. 6-7 over 1-6-7-8-10 exacta here.
I just played a 10 over 1-6 try for a buck.
There you
Have
go.
something to watch.
No,
that's the wrong
no
order,
2,
though.
Caleb?
This is-
I mean, I like the 2, but I hate betting old horses off big layoffs, and I think he's gonna need one.
Hey guys, oddly enough, Jared Bush just messaged me. He cashed a ticket here in race 10 already.
Was it to the one?
He had it. And dude, he had it all. He had
always
the win,
has
the
it.
exacta,
That's
and the
always
try.
has it.
He cashed about 5,000 out of this race. So good for you, Jared Bush.
Look at
Congrats
this guy in
with
a
that.
cowboy hat with with the gate opener on the
Dude,
handheld.
he's got a little flare
That's
move too. Watch him here.
Yeah, that's actually CJ Johnson.
So we can end it now, right?
Look at Mark. Mark hoping the cheap speed holds on.
Yeah, you go with that horse, Tyler. Oh, I'm sorry.
This 5 has screwed up my whole scenario here.
Well, leave it to Stuart Elliott to be aggressive.
Really?
Look at the 10. The 10 has he's
Loaded.
8 feet.
You're going to
tall.
mark it, aren't you?
He's gonna
Look
mark
at
it
that
right
10.
now.
Book that 10. Pay the man his money. Pay the man his money.
No, kid's out a horse in the 2.
9's got some run. Oh,
Someone like the 9. Who was that?
Yeah,
Nick.
Nick C like the 9 here.
oh, the
It's a
6.
little
What
run
a,
he's never
what a
got.
horrible ride on the 6. He got stuck.
So did we all like a horse that won? Did that just happen again?
It did just happen. Yeah.
It only
We should have
took,
keyed. We should have keyed Nick's 9, dude. What the heck?
We
That
should
exact
have.
is probably
Seriously,
paying
what
a
were we
crap
thinking?
ton.
Where's 10-9? 10-9 was paying 32 for 2.
$32. Yeah. Oh man, the 10-1 exactly got hammered down to 13.
I didn't really get the love for the 1. I mean, I guess the couple entry, but and it's Broberg. Both those
I thought
horses are going the wrong way. In my
So,
opinion.
I
you're,
thought
you're going with you're going with the sheets angle now after the race. You don't like the horse.
Well, I never got the 1. I mean, 10-1. I mean, there's a reason that horse is 10-1 on the line. It's probably what it should have been, but people just bet Broberg.
Hey, the pick 5 paid $205 for 50 cents. For what that sequence was, that's a pretty nice payout.
So you had 3 horses that were, pretty much stone cold singles. Well, 2 that were stone cold singles, and 1 that this last horse. I mean, we all singled anyway.
Yeah, I mean you had 3 ice cold singles. The 7th race was a little bit tough, but you get around that, it really wasn't a hard sequence.
Yeah, but if you like,
Did you see that Did you see the 10 ended up going off at 4-5?
Did he really? Wow.
Yeah. No wonder we all liked it.
I like the horse. I didn't 4-5 like the horse.
Would your pick 3 there pay?
Nothing.
$22 for 2?
Yeah.
What do you have for five?
Yeah, 22. No, I had it
We
for
picked
10.
up 220.
You get it for 10? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you picked up $100.
I had the double for 20, so which is okay.
80. So okay, you got about $200 there.
A couple $100. It's all right.
yeah, about $200. Hey, Josh,
What's up?
this bottle sucks.
Oh yeah, look at that. Welcome to my world, dog.
You're not going to Iowa, dog.
Yeah, Josh, going back to your not that I want to change topics or anything, but going back to your Gulfstream race, I thought Flying Scotsman was a bit interesting here. It appears to be your your inexpensive velocity, loan speed, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you're getting an absolutely terrible jock, but you're getting a horse that happens to be 4 of 8 at this trip. All 4 wins of this horse's, in this horse's lifetime have been at this 1 mile trip. And a horse that's probably coming into softer company here than some of those races like the Maker's Mile or the Kilroe. I thought the 5 made some sense in here at a price. So they have 12-1 in the morning line. I don't know if you get that, but I thought Flying Scotsman was at least a little bit interesting here. Assuming Gulfstream Turf, which tends to normally be speed favoring. We didn't get to see much of it today, so I'll watch it tomorrow and see how the weather plays out and see if it stays that way. But if it does come speed favoring, I'm pretty interested in Flying Scotsman.
Really?
I've turned into Josh. I'm sorry.
That's a Josh horse for sure.
Oh, it's totally a Josh horse. It's cheap speed all day long, but apparently I've become Josh.
That's a beautiful
Sorry,
day.
I'm
Here
checking
you go.
my checking my stable duel. My stable duel here. Caleb, I don't see you anywhere.
I'm on the hidden page.
You're on the hidden page. How far down do I got to scroll to find you?
I don't know. Let me look.
Dude, I screwed up. I didn't realize it was a 4 o'clock start today. So I
Yeah,
missed
well,
it.
I was doing real good, and then my last 3 horses were -30, -10, and -24. So I'm in
Ouch.
132nd place. I had the last place winner, so I'll probably end up around 100th-ish.
I'm gonna cash here. I think I'm in 54th right now with 280 points, and
The totals in this are insane.
yeah,
That
and I
three-horse
had
field.
I'm gonna have the winner here, so I had the 10, so that should be another 60-ish points. So that should put me at about 340, which would put me at about like 15th place. But I'm guessing there's a bunch of people that had it, so I'm just hoping it gets me in the top 40 and gets me to cash here, get a little money into the old stable duel bankroll there. Thank you for your donation, Caleb. I appreciate it.
So Dennis, you implying here that that class matters, and up in class here, the 5 can't win. Is that what you're kind of going at here?
Yeah, to wrap up the most disjointed handicapping analysis of a race that I've literally ever seen. I don't think Largent could probably lose this race. That's going to be my single. I think he's just better than this field. He's proven to fire fresh. He broke his maiden at first asking. He won again off a 9-1 playoff in January of 2020. He almost won the Pegasus last year, against Colonel Liam, who we know is a nice horse. Pletcher's Barn is firing on all cylinders. I just think this is definitely the horse to use here. I don't like value proposition. I don't think that they really know what they have with this horse. They stretch him out, they cut him back, they stretch him out. And, they send him to Monmouth. A lot of red flags there, and this is not a horse I want to really back, especially as the beaten chalk last time out against a weaker field than this. So yeah, I like Largent, and that's pretty much the only horse I'm going to use here. I don't hate Mark Flying Scotsman, but I'm probably not going to go there.
Your disdain for the Mid-Atlantic makes me so happy sometimes. Just like the fact that the horse happened to once have run in the Mid-Atlantic makes the horse shit for the rest of its career. Yeah, and not to take Josh's role here, but anybody think anything of Fat Man in here? A horse that actually, has run okay over turf a million years ago, has quite a bit of turf, a fairly turfy pedigree, and they're throwing the 8-year-old back on, back on turf here again. I didn't hate it. I just didn't quite know what to do with it, honestly.
How'd you get a second turn before I got one turn? That's bullshit.
I just took my turn. I was decided I was going to take over and ramble.
Look how eager you were to talk about a fat man. So I know you subliminally think about me.
The best part is that I bet you the only reason Brian said anything is because he likes Fat Man on the spot.
No, I do not like Fat Man in this spot. I'm going to single Largent. But I'm going to defensively use the little Belgrano. I really like to move up in class here from that 20,000 race. I like to move to Edgar Prado. Think the horse could have some speed. This is the kind of race that Edgar steals at Gulfstream Park. Horse goes back to routing. Going to be a huge price, and he'd be one that I would hate to not have on my ticket if something went wrong with Largent. So take your Fat.
All right, Mark, yeah, go back to Fat Man. See, I looked at Fat Man, but I mean, 8-year-old going back to do something that he used to do. I mean, like, what is he? You think he's just hoping that this gets washed off?
Honestly, he. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I have nothing to say.
Oh, no, I was going to say, he ran some okay turf races back in the day. Are they just going, trying to go back to the well? I mean, I realize he's 8. They're probably trying to figure out how they can eke any last little bit of cash out of him. I get that, but maybe they're hoping it comes off. Maybe he's a scratch if it doesn't, but he's done okay on the turf before, and he's got a pedigree which says he should. I mean, she says he should handle the turf okay.
He's
one. I think he has a shitty turf route pedigree.
Yes.
I think they don't.
Yeah, it's probably not a turf route pedigree. I would agree with that. Yeah.
And to me, this is the first horse I've thrown in this race.
Yes.
I mean, you'll get a price on him, but I don't think he can win.
Hey, Dennis. Yeah, that is true. Actually, Dennis is correct.
If it gets washed off, it goes to the center.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that happened today, even though it didn't rain. Somebody can explain to me why Gulfstream came off the turf. I'd love to know.
Too sunny.
Yep.
Acacia's in a dress. It was sunny all day, and they come off the turf.
Interestingly, Caleb, Northern Trend 20% turf bottom. So, really, you think there's no turf pedigree, or you think it's just the route?
I think it's more distance than surface.
Distance, yeah.
There is turf pedigree. I agree with Caleb. There might not be turf route pedigree.
Horse is 1 for 8 at a mile on turf, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's 8 years old. He's not going to show something new.
He's only got 5 turf starts, and he's
all right here.
Second place.
Since we're doing this this Fat Man fan fiction, tell me how this hits you, Mark. All right, Fat Man going down the hill at Santa Anita. How's that hit you?
Ooh!
How's that hit you?
That would. Ooh. See, the Fat Man would get rolling down the hill, and he'd so much momentum into the straight, nobody would ever catch him. See?
That's not the first time a Fat Man on a hill is excited, Mark.
Let's go. Why don't we start talking about maybe horses like Handsome Prince instead of Fat Man in race 9, 6 furlongs, optional claiming, and got a freaking full field here of 9 again. These are some big fields, man. This is going to be, I think, even if this chalks out, this is going to pay pretty nicely. Just from field size alone. We'll see how singled Largent is. What was Largent in the book?
He's not even the favorite in the book, actually. He's not
really. Value proposition is?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's some questionable lines going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see what happens here. I kind of had a lone A in the spot. There wasn't really much I loved in here. I did really like the 8. Twice too many here for Rohan Crichton. I can't pronounce that. Paco Lopez. It took this horse quite a bit to break its maiden, which I know just probably makes Caleb shudder a little bit. But he had 6 second places, so I think he was just a little snake bitten. It finally broke through and ran second again. Backed up that maiden victory with a nice run, finishing second, and I think it's the horse to beat here. I'm guessing, Mark, this is the favorite in this race.
What horse are you looking at?
9 to 5.
8.
Yes.
The 8. Yeah. I really, there really wasn't any other horse that. I mean, the only other horse I had a little bit of a question about was this 7 Raise the Rent for Kelly Breen, but I'm guessing that these are going to be your 2 shortest prices here, and I can't use both of them, so I'm going to lean on the one that I like a little bit better here, the 8.
Shouldn't they ship Kent in to ride that horse?
Oh, to raise the rent? Yeah, raise the rent.
Kent could pay the rent on Raise the Rent. I mean,
yeah.
Shouldn't Kent come in for that?
It took me a while to get that one, but yes, they should.
Sorry, it was terrible.
Brian, before the bald one goes, what do you got here?
I am like you, Josh. I think the 8 looks really good. I debated singling the 8. However, there's a price horse I think is just too good to pass up. Tossing the last out, and that's the 1 Mish.
Yep.
First out for Safi, previously trained by somebody else who's 0 for 52. Zayas is off at Churchill. Irad is on at Gulfstream. Safi can work miracles sometimes. If you look like 2 back, the horse ran a nice figure. So if you go by figure alone, the horse could be competitive on Saturday. Sure, that was on sloppy, but then 3 back on fast at 6 furlongs. The horse, again, with Rajiv or Romero. That's Romero, right? Yeah. Was competitive and ran a good number. So actually lost to Raise the Rent that day. But with that being said, Safi is dangerous, especially with Irad aboard. This horse is 10-1 in the morning line, right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, 10-1.
You are reading that right. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I think that morning line's crazy. I think I get 3 or 4 to 1 on that horse. But in the horizontals, I think 1 and 8 are my 2 plays here.
Yeah, I completely agree with Bri. I think that if I can get 10 to 1, I feel like I'm stealing. on that horse. I think that line is probably the worst line in the entire sequence. Don't necessarily love the horse, but on that line, you just have to really like that horse. I thought Mish made a ton of sense in here. The other one that I thought was really interesting for similar sort of reasons is the 6, this Duop Don, who, I realize the horse is only 3 for 12 lifetime, but has never missed 5 of 6 in the distance. And Sayas hops up for somewhat no-name connections who are just happen to be 22% first off the claim. I realize small sample size before Caleb says it, but the Sayas with Mary Epier also is 29% connections with a $4.34 ROI. So I have a feeling this 6 might also be pretty live at a bit of a price, and a 3-win streak as well.
Yeah, I have nothing important to add here. If I play this, I'll use the worst morning line of the sequence with the 1, and I'll use the 8, who is probably a vulnerable favorite given his tendency to hang, but is certainly the horse to beat, especially on those 2 races after the barn change. So that's all I think I need here personally. I tried to make a case for the 5, but just doesn't win enough for me to really go there. But that might be the other horse I'd take a glance at.
All right, race 10, moving along. And I sorry, I didn't want to skip over Dennis here. He said Safi's got a shot. Might have to go with the Safi in 8, who's probably the best. Dude, Caleb, since our boy stopped showing up, oh man, why am I blanking on his name already? Jared. Oh, since Jared Bush stopped showing up, I noticed that you've had a latch onto somebody else for picks so far. And looks like Dennis Trusty. You and Dennis Trusty seem to have very similar picks. Are you sure you're just not stealing Dennis's picks?
That's what I've been doing this whole time, actually. I think Dennis is actually stealing Jared's picks. It's actually, the conspiracy goes one level deeper.
What if Dennis was Jared Bush?
I'm not saying he's not Jared Bush, but I am saying I've never seen him in the same room together.
This is true.
Just let that sink in for a moment.
This is true. Race 10, going 6 furlongs on the dirt here. Optional claiming 25, N1X. And once again, field of 10. Got a nice big field here. You guys know who I have here, so Caleb, what do you got here?
I thought this was a spread race for me personally. Josh, I assume you're on the 7.
Is that Wild America?
Yes.
Yes, I have Wild America singles here.
The 3 cherry special.
Yep.
The 7 is a horse that's probably my lone B in this race, my 4th pick, and I only used 4 horses. I did think this was a spread race. I don't think I had anything overly creative, though. I think the 3 horse is probably the top play here and looks like the horse to beat. It came out of those Delaware races and got the Gulfstream last time off the short layoff and ran a great race and crushed a field, a very similar field actually to what he's facing today. My kind of concern is that she absolutely tripped out that day. She had the inside post. She saved all the ground. The horses in front of her kind of blew the turn, and she just scooted up the fence and was gone. I think connections are being realistic, not moving her up in class off that win. I think this probably is where she belongs. And I have some concerns she'll get overbet off of that, apparently dominant effort, which probably just wasn't quite as impressive as it looks on paper. And I'm not sure she gets that trip again. The other horses I did kind of like here were the 4 and the 5. The 4 horse here loves Gulfstream and really just kind of loves to win over the fast track. Hasn't done quite as well over off tracks or turf, so obviously might want to downgrade a little bit. But I do think that this 4 horse here didn't get much of a run last time. But if you can find a way to forgive that race, which I kind of can, pretty much any other race that she's run fits in here. Maybe she just needed that start off of the 5-month layoff. Maybe she just wasn't prepped that day. I don't know what happened there, but she's still protected. She's not in it for the tag here. That's always encouraging. And you're getting a jock upgrade as well to Rafael Hernandez, who's a guy that does a lot of riding up at Woodbine. So I think that this 4 horse here is probably going to get overlooked. 15-1 in the book. I don't think you get that, but you probably will get a decent price off that last effort where she was kind of crushed against a couple of today's foes. Another horse I thought made some sense was the 5. This is really more of a connections play than anything else. Irad and Safi win together a lot at Gulfstream. Gulfstream is crooked as hell, but sometimes you got to bet with the devil.
I agree. I like everything Caleb said, plus like 5 more horses. I've got 7 horses in this race. Josh, you were pouring, so I just started talking. I like all the horses Caleb mentioned. The horse that I'm going to talk about, because Mark will talk about the rest. I actually like the 9 here a little bit. I think the 9 is interesting, and 8-1 of the morning line. It's one of those horses who is lightly, I don't want to say lightly raced. The horse has raced 15 times, but 5.5 furlongs, various surfaces, has been versatile. But all of a sudden, Paco is up for Kelsey. And Kelsey's been training the horse for a while now, and Paco has not been up. So why now? Why here? To me, that's a question mark. The horse had a nice figure last out, went wire to wire. With Paco, who's an aggressive rider, Paco can get to the front. The question I have is, how does the 7 Wild America go? How does the 6 go? So there might be too much speed inside for Paco, but if there's ever a jockey that's going to just bull his way over to the lead, it's going to be Paco. So, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, they're all going to be on a ticket for me.
I mean, Brian talked about all the horses I think I want to talk about. I'll go back to
one horse.
Well, I mean, you said 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure. I think I'm basically as spread as you are. I think this is a pretty spready race. I thought somebody like the 5 Psychic Ability. I know Josh talked about Safi, or maybe it was Caleb talked about Safi moving horses up, and you sort of have to bet them back. Well, here's another Safi horse coming out of a lowish percentage barn into the Safi barn. He throws a rat up who happens to be 44% for him in the last year. I thought it's 7-2 Psychic Ability. The 5 made a lot of sense, and this is the kind of horse that Safi finds the right spots for. This horse is getting quite a bit of class relief out of that. I mean, I realize it's out of Delaware, which is in the Mid-Atlantic, so something. But last known quantity was in a 44K allowance at Gulfstream. So this is quite a bit of class relief out of that. And you get into the Safi barn. I thought that was a pretty interesting horse. I mean, I can make a case for half this field, though. I think this is one of those spreadier races in the sequence.
Agreed. Cheers. The chalk's gonna win now. That.
Yeah, I don't know who's the chalk in here? Right?
It'll probably be the Safi horse, is my guess.
The 5?
You think of the 5 as a favorite?
But probably the 5.
Yeah, I'd say 5 or 6, right?
I would say 5 or 3, but I could see the 6.
Who was the first horse you were talking about, Caleb? Were you talking about the 7 horse, or who were you talking about?
I addressed the 7 as a horse that I use, but I didn't really talk about him. I like the 3, 4, and 5, and I talked about
3, 4, and 5. Okay.
The 3 is the horse that tripped out.
Were you pouring?
3 is the horse that tripped out. I was, because I heard you talking about Delaware, and I was like, wait, which horse are you talking about? But okay, you're talking about the 3.
I do think Brian's 1 in here was going to be the horse I was going to talk about, but I think that 1 makes quite a bit of sense in here as a horse that probably gets a little lost on the board and has some figures that fit in here. So,
all right, let's move on to this last race here. Race 11, maiden optional claiming, 50K here. Once again, full field with AEs, which always makes things interesting if some of them draw in, going a mile on the turf. And I had a hard time with this race. Mark, I'm curious where you kind of landed here.
I also had a real hard time with this race. I can make a case for about half the field in here, probably more than half the field. There's a lot of horses you can make a case for. I didn't really want to go first because I have a bit of a price that I like in here. But, I think somebody like the 7, the Pletcher horse with a rat up, or the 9, Charming Charlie, the Clement horse that's getting gaff up. Both of those, I think, probably vie for favoritism. And both of them make quite a bit of sense. The 7 last time on turf was out of the way with anticipation, got rained off. They tried synth, and now they're back onto the turf. And the gaff horse, the 9, they tried to get this one on turf with ducked, dig it on the second time out in turf with Manny up. You're getting Gaff, who, obviously down here is better than they get in Gaff. And I think both those two make quite a bit of sense. Horse I was really interested in, though, was the 5. Tap the Speed of Sound, 15 to 1 on the morning line for a horse. Tap it over MDO on the bottom. Turf pedigree all day long. This one ran up the track on dirt first time out. I would imagine that was just Cassie getting this one a race with, Concala's up. And this is this is a horse that makes a lot of sense on turf, and I expect to improve quite a bit second time out. So I thought the 5 in here, Tap the Speed of Sound, made quite a bit of sense.
Man,
Brian?
that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Did I just find a Brian horse again?
Yes.
Second one on the day. Nice.
I don't know what to say right now. Let me talk about somebody else. I'll talk about the 15. Testy, whatever. If this horse draws in, I like this horse. The Maker Barn's been cold. Tyler Gaffleon sucks, according to Mark. So put the two of them together, and this is a stone cold pipe lock. I've got nothing smart to say. I'm just trying to be funny about making fun of Mark. He stole my thunder at the 5. But if the 15 draws in, I do like the 15. I think the 5 was interesting, as Mark talked about. The one that I thought was a little bit more interesting, I'm not sure how obviously Tyler will be on the 9, so maybe I just like Tyler, Mark. I don't know. But I thought Charming Charlie was interesting for Christoph. Christoph's been firing really well lately. The horse kind of looked like crap on running lines, right? You look at it, you say, okay, what did the horse do up in New York? And it's like not really good. Made an 80, nothing. Bumped it last out. Dueled 3 wide in debut. Now all of a sudden they're here in Florida. And so I was a little confused by the placement of the horse. Why come all the way down Namcook Stables? It's not like they're a big Florida owner, right? So kind of confused me quite a bit. But it's one of those horses where I'm not going to question Christoph. This is the type of situation where the running line, I just say, you know what? I'm going to ignore the running line and trust in Christoph Clement a little bit. The morning line's 4 to 1. It's probably a little shorter than I'd like. 6 to 1, 7 to 1. I'm probably a lot more interested there. And then the other one, I'll let Josh talk, or Caleb, because it's a Pletcher horse. So I'll let somebody else talk.
I do have to say that Caesar chimed in. Our boy Caesar here. He said Mark and Brian both on a horse, automatic. So there's a couple of those. You already talked about the 9, but 9 is basically the only horse in here that I really felt strongly about. That's not to say that this has happened a couple times so far through the sequence. It's not to say it's the only horses I'm going to use, but at least upon first pass, are the ones that I know I'm definitely going to have on tickets. And so I really like this 9. I think Caleb mentioned it a little bit before about turf or about young horses starting off routing. Especially these turf horses, I like to see a couple of races going those route distances. To a horse that's got 1 or 2 starts going a mile plus, usually is a good thing. Christoph, second time grass here is at 20%. Him and Tyler are killing it over the last 2 months. They are 56%. There's just a lot to like about this horse. For as much crap as Mark gives Tyler Gaffleon, he's not Manny Franco. So I think I like Charming Charlie here as an A. I had another horse. Oh, this 4 horse Ableton. First time starter for John Kimmel. You know, John Kimmel not great first time starters. Angel Arroyo, like connections here not great. The works aren't looking that good. But Twirling Candy tends to win. Is decent early. Maybe going a mile first off might be a little long, but definitely you got the turfy pedigree here. This is a horse that just kind of raised my eyebrows because there was a lot of stuff in here that just didn't look that good to me. So I thought the 4 was maybe a first time starter that, hey, if you're looking to toss a horse in and maybe try and spike a price in the last leg, I think a horse like Ableton makes a little bit of sense here. Has good pedigree. I don't know. The horse definitely doesn't want to go any further than a mile, so I don't know if he's going to want to fire going a mile straight out. But that's kind of where I landed here on those first 2. Caleb, what you got?
Yeah, I see it similar to you, Josh. I think really similar to everybody. The 9 is the horse that I felt probably most strongly about. Christophe Clement is one of those barns that I think is probably one of the streakiest barns in racing. And when his barn is firing, you just have to go along for the ride. He does it typically early in Saratoga, and it's a little unusual, I guess, or at least I think it's unusual. But for Gulfstream, he's 35% right now. So clearly he's pointed some horses here. And when he gets hot, sometimes even if you don't love the horse, you just kind of have to go with it. Well, I think this horse looks good anyway on the class drop, and I definitely think this 9 is probably your most likely winner. I'm going to let the 7 beat me. I feel like I've seen enough of this horse. Yeah, he technically is getting a class drop, but I'm not really sure these synthetic races at Gulfstream are very good at all. And this horse just has never run back to that first time start maiden race at Saratoga. He's kind of gone backwards in every start almost. He didn't handle the dirt, but it's a lot of excuses for me to make for a horse that doesn't really do much for me. So I'll let the 7 beat me even on the drop. That's not a horse I'm interested in. I do like the first-time starters and lightly raced horses that you guys all talked about. Josh, I like your 4 purely for the pedigree angle. I think there's a lot of turf there. Mark, I like your 5 for the pedigree. I think there's a lot of turf there. The other one I kind of looked at was the 6. This is the last horse I'd potentially include, I think. Oh, excuse me, I have 2 more. But the 6 I did like a little bit. It would be the last horse I would include just because he handled the turf fine in that last start. Second off the layoff here and stretching out. I think that sprint may have been a bit of a prep race. He is a Florida bred in this, so he's not entered for a tag. So the connections clearly think they have something here that they don't want to give him up or risking being claimed away. So that's a horse I thought might be a little bit interesting. Gilberto Zerpa is a very streaky trainer, but he can get some winners. So this is a horse I thought was a little bit interesting. And the other one was the 8 horse, who I do like more than the 6. Again, it's a Mike Stidham, Luis Saez, all kinds of bells and whistles. Second time starter, adding Lasix, switching surfaces, first time grass. A lot of high percentage angles here for this trainer. And I'm a little curious. This is a New York bred that debuted in New York bred company, and then ends up in a Florida race that in for a tag here. They must really think that this horse is just pure turf as far as I'm concerned, because I don't know why else they wouldn't keep him in New York and run him on the dirt for better purse money and probably weaker fields, unless they were just completely convinced this is a turf horse. So I kind of like the trainer intention here of shipping him down for this. You get Saez up, who's 28% right now. And they do a turf winner on the damn side of the pedigree. So I like the 8 Astro Weeks here. I'll be using a lot of the 8 as well as the 9 Charming Charlie is probably my top 2 picks.
I don't really think we talked about this other first time starter, the 3 for Safi. Any interested in this one, Caleb?
So my thinking is Safi's a trainer that usually you can tell what he has by who he puts up. Lionel Reyes is not one of his typical go-to guys. He gets a couple mounts, especially when the top jocks aren't in town. But more often than not, if it's not an Ortiz or a Saez or an Edgar Zayas or somebody else, then the horse probably isn't super live. He's also not a guy, Safi, that I associate with being very successful with first-time starters, and especially on the turf. Briz is showing only 5% with debut turfers. That sounds right to me. I don't think I can think of too many first-time starters on turf he's popped off with. And there isn't a whole lot of turf pedigree on the bottom of the dam side there. On the top, I mean, More Than Ready does fine on the turf, but the bottom is a lot more geared towards dirt sprint, in my opinion. So I'm going to let him beat me. But if somebody wanted to throw him in, I do think you'll get a decent price on that horse, probably 10-1.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I know I got a couple of kind of just like preliminary tickets here. Nothing set in stone. But let me pull up some of these here. Can you guys see that? There we go. Yeah, so we got Brian's ticket here. Brian, you got a $140 ticket up here. You got a single in race 3. Once again, these are definitely not set in stone. I think even Brian's got a couple of AEs here.
Yep.
So just figure we'd toss something up, just kind of, in case you guys weren't keeping track with what we got here. Caleb, I believe you also sent me yours. You kind of got an A-B structure here. And obviously, Caleb is definitely not going to play this, but he probably will. So, and once again, guys, if you ever have questions or, want to know where we're going with stuff, hop in the Discord, ask questions, ping us, shoot us a message on Twitter. Everyone is always more than ready to talk about whatever they got going on there. And Mark, I'm sure will work on his structure and have something up early Saturday. He usually posts it in whatever channels in Discord, but yeah, it was fun. It was nice to see Sam Houston start back up. We'll definitely be following the meet. I know it's kind of sucks. We might have to shift to either Friday nights, possibly maybe doing a little bit stuff there, or see what we're doing. We do have award show coming up, our yearly thing. We've traditionally done it in December or January. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna aim for 2 weeks from today, the 20th. So I'll have more info up on there. I think we're gonna have a little bit more user participation this time around. But we'll have more info out on that next week. We'll probably do some giveaways and stuff like that as well. We always like giving back, so have some T-shirts and stuff up. So what else you guys got going on this weekend? Mark, what do you got? I know you're trying to last minute an NHC seat, it sounds like. You already got your FlowCal seat. You're trying to get another one?
I got my FlowCal seat last weekend. I'll be trying to get into both NHC and LCQ.
Brian, what you got going on this weekend?
I'm going to take down my Christmas tree, and I'm going to
watch.
I'm going to laugh when Mark, has alt winners, because that's my pain. So I'm glad.
If you played my alts today, you at Gulfstream, you had a very, very, very good day.
Dude, I felt so bad, Brian, when we were me, you, John Lloyd, and was it Mike? I forgot John. What's John Lloyd's friend's name?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike, yeah. When and John Lloyd's dad were up there, for that live tournament, and I'm like, I didn't play in the tournament, and like I was hitting winners, and you guys were just like struggling a little bit, and then the tables turned though. You guys both hit something nice late, and I gave back basically everything I won. So
but you had good food. That's the important part.
Yeah, the food was good. Yeah. Shout out to oh man, what was his name? Who's the Hawthorne guy that hooked us up?
Steve Walsh.
Stevie. Shout out to Steve. Big ups. Caleb, what you got going on this weekend?
Not much. I'll be pretty light for the most part. I got some stuff going on. Just getting the house ready, and then folks are coming to visit next week. So I'm sure next week me and Papa Knight will be throwing money away. But this week I'll be pretty light. I might glance at maybe a little bit of Santa Anita or a little bit of Oaklawn, maybe. Aqueduct's been pretty bad, and I love Winter Aqueduct, but it's been rough. So I'm not sure what I'll do, but I'll probably be pretty white for the most part.
Yeah,
Next month or
I
so.
haven't been playing. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was just saying the next month or so of Winter Duct is hard until you start getting those preps for the spring stuff where you get some bigger fields to play with.
Yeah, I've been lacking on my Winter Duct homework, so I got to catch up on that this weekend. I've been pretty lax. I'm playing a little bit too much League of Legends, but with Caleb being out for the weekend, I might have some time now that I won't be playing League of Legends. Oh, there he is.
There
He is,
There's your
Jared.
boy.
Dude, Jared, we were talking about you. Look at those hits, baby. Pick 5 hit, exacta, trifecta. Sam Remington. I didn't even know Remington was running. All right, Jared, you got to be here. You got to be here when we play Sam Houston.
Which pick 5 do you have at Delta, Jared? Because which one? Early or late?
Both. Clearly had both.
Yeah, he had both.
Probably
dude.
both. Yeah, I mean, of course he had both.
But yeah, like I said, we got some stuff coming up with the award show the 20th, week before NHC. I know right now tentatively the plan is Mark and I are going to be out there. Caleb's like up in the air, and Brian is an adult. So but we're going to try and be out there, possibly playing in the. I know I'm going to try one more time to qualify for that, or get a feeder into that last chance qualifier. But yeah, our boy PDT, he's got last chance qualifier seat. Our friend B Marks is going to be out there. He's got a seat in the NHC and last chance qualifier, so he's trying to get a second seat. Sheldon, our boy Sheldon's got a seat out there, so yeah, it's going to be.
He's got seats of both. He's both LCQ and NHC. I'll be buying into LCQ if I don't win my way in. So yeah, I got my FloCal seat already, so good to go there. Jared, oh, go ahead.
Is LQT like LGBT? What is LCQ?
Last chance qualifier.
Last chance qualifier / first chance qualifier, because they added the stupid second part, even though it really doesn't matter.
I knew that. I just want to make fun of you for saying LCQ like you're some club, because I'm gonna roll Mark
like that.
And Jared.
And
Jared,
ICQ. My bad. ICQ. My bad.
Okay. I was just saying. You're all the worst, Jared. I was only asking because the early paid like $750 and the late paid like $950. So would you leverage
he had it
up
5 times, dude? Get out of here. Leave him alone.
Okay.
You know what?
So he had a $2.50 base on the late. Hey, good shit, man. Good
hey, Josh. Maybe you could get Jared on the podcast, because
dude, I would love to have Jared on the podcast. Jared,
Dude,
let's make that happen.
Can we get Jared on the stream as well?
Dude, it sounds like Jared said he's working on something. So
I'm not big time you though.
Yeah, he could big time me.
He's launching his own
Caitlin
channel.
Free didn't big time me, but Jared Bush might.
He's launching his own channel.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us, guys. Catch us at wrong_lead on Twitter, ontherwronglead.com. Buy t-shirts. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later.